Hey everybody, it's Eric.
I'm Daryl.
Welcome to the Automotive Podcast that knows cars and coffee.
On this episode of Throwing Wrenches, we have some special guests, and we look forward to learning a little bit more about the local cars and coffee scene.
Here he comes.
It's okay. It's okay. Hey everybody, thanks for listening and enjoying the fun of the show. As I say every week, every bi-weekly, as iTunes says we are.
Yeah.
Go to info@thrownwrenches.com and send us an email. And also, we got some Spotify comments, Daryl.
Hey, you should be really happy.
I was really happy.
You're
I was
always looking for those comments from our
absolutely thrilled.
listeners.
I mean, and it wasn't my mom or your wife, so we got that going for us.
Good. I think Sarah stopped listening, but that's fine. We'll get her back.
Yeah, just one road trip and she's back on,
Yeah,
I think.
that's right.
JCD listened to the last episode, and he said, I heard Nissan was refusing to close plants and make changes. Honda was wanting to make them a division, not an equal, probably afraid of the Packard Studebaker scenario. I'm surprised they're still around after selling Frontiers for $45K with the same chassis design from the 90s.
Yeah, ain't that the truth?
Well, but that's, I mean, the 4Runner has made a success out of that for 15 years, right?
4Runner and Frontier may be slightly different.
You think?
Close, but no cigar.
Actually, I think the Frontiers have been marked as one of the cheapest trucks you can get your hands on. So.
They were for a long time, and I still see them, as like work trucks and stuff. Like maybe it's still a good value, but if you're just looking for a beater with a heater, but still like mid-40s,
yeah,
it's a lot.
Not to just totally argue with you, JCD. I totally agree. I mean, Nissan probably had more to lose in that deal than Honda. So if Nissan didn't get like equal footing, I think I could see why they would be hard to deal with.
Well, they definitely did have a Valentine's Day breakup because I think the news happened like right on Valentine's Day. They're like, we're not merging. It's
Meanwhile,
like, this partnership, this relationship is over.
Meanwhile, Mitsubishi's like, hey, what about us?
Yeah, what the hell? Nobody said our name. Poor Mitsubishi. They're like the redheaded stepchild of
right?
automotive companies.
And then we got Steven. Daryl, please give in and try a diesel. Oh, my God.
Oh, the diesel heater?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get the diesel heater. I need a review and see if they really work. Great show, as always. So close to 100 episodes.
Hey, there we go. No, I was looking at it, but then honestly, like on the Diesel Heaters for Dummies Facebook group I'm in,
seriously,
a lot of people are having trouble. Yeah, they're like, 2 guys had their house burned down because of them, and I'm like, no. So I might come back to the diesel heater, but maybe for the time being, I might just use the little electric space heater.
There you go, Steven. He doesn't care about your opinion. He will not help you.
No, that's not it. Thanks for the feedback, Steven. That's the diplomatic answer. I'm still going to get one.
All right. Tonight we're coming to you live from the Fort's Toyota Pekin Theater.
It is kind of like theater. Like, you got nice chairs.
Yeah.
You got refreshments.
Yeah. Toyota Pekin Studios. Let's just call it that. And you can find them on the web at www.toyota-pekin.com. There you'll find all the new inventory, all the used inventory. And actually, I counted it today. People don't normally do this, Daryl, but I did. We have 22 RAV4s in the lot.
22?
22. Now, I didn't check see if that was new and used. I think it's a mix. I don't know if it's a 2017 or 2024.
How many blue ones with gray interior?
Well, funny you should ask, Daryl. You can go to www.toyota-pekin and you can type in whatever you want, and they'll fulfill your dreams.
How many have 4 wheels and seats?
Definitely all.
Okay.
We got that covered. So.
Good.
Anyway, check them out. Thanks again, Fort's Toyota, for being a longtime sponsor. And we're going to say this one's also sponsored by Peoria Cars and Coffee. Cars and Coffee is a long middle bottom.
There we go. We got sound effects. That's how high budget this show is.
It is. You should know these buttons, Daryl.
I think they got moved. I blame the interns.
Is there a website for Peoria Cars and Coffee?
No, it's just on Facebook.
Okay. But it's at Peoria Cars and Coffee?
At Central Illinois Cars and Coffee.
That's why I can never tag it. I swear to God. Every time I screw it up.
It just changed recently.
Did it?
It used to be Peoria Cars and Coffee, but now
Okay.
we switched over.
Well, we're going to talk lots about Cars and Coffee. We'll give you all the information on that before the show's over. Also, thanks to the Patreon subscribers. Patreon folks make...
Oh, wrong one.
Oh, my God.
There's the applause I wanted. Sorry. I'm not going to touch these things. I'm not checked out on this mixer anymore. Go ahead. Patreon. You were saying.
They're great. We have this awesome mixer, and if you know how to work it, it works great. But if you don't, well, then it sounds like a rank amateur operation. So tonight we will try and bridge the gap between amateur and professional. Also, iTunes Premium folks, you do a great job. Also, we appreciate your help. Everybody, thanks for listening. Thanks for sharing, and thanks for those reviews, which we didn't get, but we did get Spotify comments, so I'm satiated for now.
Take the win.
Exactly. All right, so tonight we called Preston. Preston Lutton, who, if you don't know, has been like one of the key figures in Peoria Cars and Coffee for years. On the pre-show, we talked a little bit about Chris Ruby, but Preston has definitely ran with the product, and he's had a great time and great success. And he brought along Jacob Walker with him. And so tonight, thank you guys for joining us on the show.
Of course.
There you go.
Yeah, I got it right this time.
Yes.
It's our studio audience. Yeah, appreciate you guys coming. This is great. Because this is kind of like the calm before the storm, right? Like everybody in the Midwest, like planning car events, planning things, getting things fixed up and running right. And then like spring hits and everybody's just out there. So
seriously.
We got you at the right time.
It's middle of February. I mean, usually the first event's in April. Mm-hmm. I can't think of a better time to have you guys on. So thank you.
Anytime.
Yeah. On our show, normally we start with projects. So I'm just going to jump right in here. I actually did do some work in 0-degree temperatures at my house.
Did you?
Yeah. For Valentine's Day, for my love, I got her a new bumper for her trailer.
Oh, look at you.
But she wanted it installed, and it was 0 degrees outside.
Oh, man.
Why?
I got it done.
Did you really?
I did.
See, in a trailer, you can't like back it into a garage and work. And like put a
No,
fire
I did
up
it
there.
out in the driveway. It was awful, but got it done. So that was my big thing. And then also, not really a project, but just more news on me. I went to Mexico last weekend.
Oh, by the way.
Yeah. I saw more Chinese cars.
In Mexico? Really?
Yes.
No kidding.
I'm not trying to get political about this, but I thought to myself as I'm looking at the BYDs, the Cherys, and the VinFasts, if there's ever an embargo or a tariff against the United States and Mexico will be fine.
Like they
They'll
got
get all
the supply chains locked down?
They'll get all the Chinese cars they want. There won't be any more American cars down there. So
You're in Mexico City. How was the food? How was the culture? How was...
I could do a whole nother podcast on it.
We'll come back to that.
It was as amazing as you might expect. Actually, people don't know what to expect when I talk to them about it because they think it's a junta country that with headhunters and gangs and drugs, and it's.
Is that when you say like I'm going to go to Mexico City? People are like that's scary.
Yeah,
really,
yeah, it's nuts. So you can go to my blog planetstall.com.
There you go.
I'm posting some stuff on there, and my Instagram planetstall too.
Very cool.
I loved it. I never need to go back. I mean, it's one of those towns. If you've been there 4 days, unless you really, really, want to embrace that culture, I don't need to go back. I'm embracing Italian culture, so.
Well, you're going to move there one day. That's fine.
I am. So, so that's all it for me. I'm trying to keep it light on the
projects,
turning wrenches. Yeah,
that's all right. That's
right.
You,
what do you got going on?
I actually spent Saturday looking at a '64 Ford Galaxie 500 two-door hardtop that I came this close to buying. Well, it's a crime of opportunity, is what happened. I'll just keep it short. My wife worked with a woman who was very sweet, and she's like, "Hey, my stepmom's selling my dad's old car. Any interest? Can you help us look at it? Maybe if you want to buy it, she'll make you a deal." Well, we went down there, and of course, it was one of those where, like, I didn't bring a trailer and I didn't bring cash. I'm like, I'm going to go look at it, because from the pictures, I don't know. Hindsight, I should have just showed up with a trailer. It was rotted out pretty bad, but either a good parts car or a good project for somebody. Even if I didn't get to it for years, I could squirrel it away. But I got there, and it was like, where's your trailer? I'm like, okay, it's not. I was just going to take a look at it. It was down in Jacksonville, Illinois. It's not real far. Never been there. So it was a cool little drive.
You ever been to Jacksonville?
No. What reason does anybody have to go to Jacksonville?
There's a brewery. There's Broad Gauge is there. And,
oh, crap.
Yeah, anyway, you missed out.
I did. I did go to a cool bar there called Mulligan's, though, afterwards to drown my sorrows.
Anyway.
It was cool.
So you could have had this car for a song or what?
Yeah, a really, 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 really good price. But I got home, and I'm like, I don't know. And then the next morning, the lady texts, she's like, 2 guys locally want it, and they're going to buy it.
Okay.
I'm like, all right, fine, bye.
Yeah.
So that was it. Moral of the story is, boys and girls, if you got a lead on something that might be too good to be true, bring a trailer and cash before somebody changes their mind or gets that opportunity to like change direction. So, anyways, it's fine. It actually lets me focus on the work I have, which is putting a brake booster on the Fury, the 70 Fury convertible. I need to get that done, get a carb rebuild on that. I got the kit. I just need to pull it off and do it. And then some finishing work on a 55 Caddy. But that's like the long story of my life.
All right. And this is a free-for-all right now if you're working on anything in the garage.
Yeah.
Preston, you got anything going on?
I got nothing going on. I'm just trying to keep my car clean daily in it with the salt and everything. Just trying to keep it clean and everything.
It's been rough lately because it's been too cold to do anything.
Is it in a garage?
Yes.
Well, that's good.
Yep. I definitely keep it on a heater, and I took a hose and wrapped it into the garage door, and I spray it down and try to keep it clean. Yesterday, trying to go into my car, I slipped and fell, and it turned into ice. I'm like, oh gosh, this is not a good idea. Yeah,
we shouldn't laugh.
I laughed at myself the whole time. So
did you get it on film?
No.
Did you get a camera?
No.
Okay.
Do you live alone? Because it could be dangerous.
No, I take care of my mother.
Okay. I was gonna say, do you need a life alert around your
No,
neck?
not yet. Not yet.
Slip on ice.
I've
What were you
fallen.
doing? I was washing my car. It was 6 degrees below zero, Preston.
Yeah.
Do you ever use that waterless car wash?
I thought about it, but I don't think there's something in there that's waterless. Like,
I've seen girls use dry shampoo. It makes no sense, but they do it.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like an oxymoron. Like, this isn't real.
Yeah.
But, oh, well. What about you, Jacob? You got stuff you're working on, wrenching out
No
over the winter?
cars. I just have my daily that I drive around every day, kind of beat the crap out of.
What's your daily?
It's a 2014 Nissan Altima, the 3.5 SL.
Well, the 6 in it. Yeah,
It's
V6.
a V6,
Yeah.
great car.
Yeah.
I bought it when it had about 125,000 miles on it, so it within the price range of a 16-year-old kid.
Yeah.
And I think now it's sitting at 195,000.
Oh, wow.
And no engine lights, no nothing. It runs great. When I went into the dealership the other day for my oil change, they're like, I've never seen a BQ like this.
Really?
Ever in this good of shape at this many
Super
miles.
clean. Yeah.
I mean, right now, super salty. There's a little bit of damage because my own father hit my car. Backing out one day.
Man.
It's okay. There's a whole story I can go to that.
Just like if you ever slip in your garage someday, your dad might be there to help you, though. So
Yeah. I wasn't too mad. It's not cheap to fix.
Nothing's cheap to
No.
fix anymore. Even was it just like a little bumper fender bender kind of thing? Or?
So we have a sloped driveway, and I happened to be parked right behind him, and he was in a rush to get to work, and he didn't look back, and he kind of, I don't know if he was pulling off quick, because it definitely did some good damage. It broke off all the plastic clips that were holding in the front bumper, so the only thing holding it in right now is screws, which haven't broken off yet.
like wood screws?
No,
No,
they're no.
Okay.
No, they're good. The emblem shattered. I had a little front splitter on there.
That's the worst part about having a kind of an accident this time of year. It's 0 degrees outside, so even working on plastic trim on cars, you got to like bring it inside, warm it up, because otherwise you just tap something with just throw this water bottle at the grill of a car right now.
Cracks.
It happened, I think, early spring last year, and I just really haven't gotten to fixing it because there's nothing's been wrong with it. But I think it was about 20 degrees that morning, and the splitter on the front was like frozen. So right as he hit it, exploded. It was pieces everywhere. I had to pick out the next day. I had to unscrew it and do all the work that I did on it. Now it's starting to get some rust on the back, so that's more money I got to put into it.
Jeez.
But
Always
it's
something.
It's just a car I drive around every day.
And
Nothing
then-
I got to really worry about.
Seasonally, when it's warmer out, you're usually on 2 wheels. What are you riding in the summer?
So right now I just picked up a new 2025 Suzuki GSR 600 crotch rocket. It's been kind of my thing. Just sold my old bike back in December. Low beginner 400. Get used to it.
Yeah.
Right now I'm not doing much. I've done exhaust for it. I'm gonna get to an air filter, all the performance stuff when I have the funds. I just spent a little more than I thought I would on it.
Like a true bike guy in the winter, though, would like roll the bike into the house and be working on it in the house, right?
We luckily have a heated garage,
okay.
so it's in there on stands.
It's not in the dining room.
No.
I've heard stories like that. Yeah.
The steps into our house is probably like 2 feet from the garage level to in the house, so you'd have to get a pretty decent slope
600
ramp.
cc. It's got the horsepower. It could do it, right?
Yeah, I don't know if I want to do that to the poor bike yet.
No. Evil Knievel style.
So now I thought about this as you were talking about your Nissan. What was your stance on the merger between Honda and Nissan as an owner?
It really doesn't bug me because I don't think I'm going to go back with them.
Yeah.
But as a Nissan investor buying their vehicles, I think it's kind of iffy. I mean,
There's no like.
there's no real win for them.
But you didn't feel like you were going to gain a prestige in your Nissan by being part of the Honda family, or?
No, not really. I mean, Hondas are slower.
Whoa.
In my opinion.
Shots fired.
In my opinion.
Shots fired.
They're
Well, it was
great-
a nice,
they're great
nice
vehicles.
show. We'll wrap this up. Just kidding.
They're
Just
great
kidding.
vehicles, very reliable. They're not going to be as quick as some of the other vehicles.
Yeah, definitely changed too. I mean, over the
Yeah.
years, like you've seen, like with every automaker, like things have come and gone. And like I remember, 20 years ago, like a little Civic Si was like, oh, that's cool. And now you're like, it's okay.
Don't get me wrong; they look amazing now.
Yeah, they
the
do.
new looks, they're very sharp. I like the lines that they put in the vehicles now. They're not as rounded. I do like the rounded ends, though. Especially towards the back of the vehicle, more rounded. Rear end looks better.
Yeah.
But some of the sharper, like the Toyota Supra that Preston has, definitely more sharp lines on the side, a little rounded on the front, but it looks good.
Very cool.
I'm definitely excited to see if Nissan comes out with a mower, though. I'll definitely buy a mower from Nissan.
Buy a Nissan?
Yeah, I'll buy a Nissan mower.
They'll probably put that 3.5 in it.
I don't know,
3.5
man.
V6.
Their floor pans are so bad. I wouldn't trust a blade to like blow through the.
The sidewall.
Yeah.
And nowadays, I don't really expect anything special from Nissan. It's going to be their run-of-the-mill, daily driven car. Do they still make GTRs? I don't think they do.
I think this is the
I
last
think this
year.
is the last year.
This is the last
Yeah.
year.
They just came up in the, those ads, or not the ads, the cars that will end at the end of 2025 or whatever. And the Skyline GTR, I think, was on there. I was like, pour
For
one
the
out.
price they put on those cars, you would expect a little bit more performance from a baseline model.
Yep.
I remember a few years ago, I went down to the Nissan dealership. I think it was in Bloomington or Champaign. That they had that 40th anniversary edition, the blue.
Mm-hmm.
They were asking like $150,000 for it. I'm like,
It's up there.
That's some tall money. I was going to say, I work at
for
Toyota.
something with 600 horsepower.
Yeah. I mean, Toyota's the king of high prices and low engine performance, so it's all on you to do something with the car after you buy it, right?
Yeah, that's why the aftermarket's so strong.
Exactly.
All right. Well, speaking of car culture and things people do with cars and cool cars and all that fun stuff and cool people, as we mentioned, Preston Lutton, Jacob Walker, both here tonight. Preston, we kind of want to get to know folks at home, get to know you a little bit more because Central Illinois is very familiar with the cars and coffee scene and kind of the the events that have been put on for many years that you help put on and organize and kind of own now. But they might not know you. And we wanted, for years, Eric and I have always said, like, oh, we should get Preston on. We should get Preston on. And I don't know if it's a schedule thing or, I don't know, we probably interviewing Batman. Maybe everybody's schedule was busy because of that.
Yeah.
But we did want to at least bring you here, and I appreciate you both coming. And if you could, just like do a little brief intro of like who you are and kind of your role here in the cars and coffee scene.
Okay. Yeah, I like I said, we like to do the community some type of justice, like to bring the community together for the positive, not the negative. I know people see bad things on YouTube, takeovers, and when you hear car event or Friday Night Lights, it's like, okay, you hear about football. You never hear about Friday Night Lights, like a car scene kind of thing. So we always like, okay, let's make a car show called Friday Night Lights. Yeah, it's on Fridays, every third Friday of the month, and everyone enjoys it. Like, it brings the younger generation that's not watching the high school football team, because some people ain't into football.
Mm-hmm.
I'll admit it. I wasn't big into football till, all the drama between the Chiefs going all the way. So, like, but
Oh, we didn't talk about the Super Bowl in the pre-show. Shame on us.
Oh, yeah. I didn't even watch it.
What?
Yeah, it was kind of a
It's mixed feelings for me. I'm a Chiefs fan. So.
sorry.
Post-show, we could talk about it.
Over a
Let's do little
beer.
play-by-play.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But so long story short, we were making these events, and we didn't expect to grow as much as we were actually growing. And like, we worked with the city all the time, and they know what our goal is to work with each other to bring the community in a positive way, and like bring something that's free to the community too. And like, I'll be honest, when I was 16, 17 years old, I had to go mow grass for $20, and $20 can't buy you anything except maybe a couple cans of soda and
Quarter tank of gas.
yeah, a quarter tank of gas. Like, and sometimes football games at high schools are $10. It's like sometimes people can't afford that. So we made these events for no cost whatsoever for the general public. And And so that's the biggest thing. People think we make a lot of money off of this. We don't make any money off of this. Like, the sponsorships give us the money towards our event insurance and stuff like that. And that's the biggest thing, is just helping the community out, the connections. I've been telling Jacob here, the connections. People, I'll admit, like, I wish high schools and colleges would teach you connections, like a whole class for connections. Because, yeah, you go get a doctor's degree, but if you don't have that connection with the certain person that you're going to get your doctor's degree with, you might not even get that job. Like, so that's my biggest thing, is the connections. Like, I just wish kids, or the younger generation, I should say, not kids, the younger generation knows that, like, hey, maybe go talk to that older gentleman that has that Plymouth Roadrunner Superbird, or that old Chevelle, or because he might know a thing or two, or he might own something, or like one of the sponsors might have a spot open at the dealership, or Detail Peoria, or Chrome Shack, or whatnot. And like, if you're getting into detailing or whatnot, they might have a spot. They might be able to put you through training. They might be able to do that. So that's the biggest thing.
Absolutely.
You got a million things, but I want to go back. I mean, like I said, Chris started the event, and I know he had a couple of guys helping him, but Chris was leaving town.
Yeah.
And he said, hey, everybody, he put on a Facebook post, I'm taking off, but I'm handing everything to Preston. What were you doing before that? Were you working with Chris? And
I was helping out at each event.
Okay.
I was helping him, like, make sure eyes were getting seen on every other area. That if he wasn't in the north side, I was in the north side. If I was helping people park, and he was on the south side, I'd be helping people park. Oop.
Has there always been like a crew of people that?
Not really.
Okay.
It's just been kind of like Chris was, like, kind of like the one-man band kind of thing. I gave him props. I'll be honest, it's a stressful thing. It's kind of like a secondary job. Jacob
would have to be.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I found that out pretty quick.
Yeah,
The trunk or treat.
Yeah, Jacob seen me almost flip on people before. Like, they weren't listening. They weren't moving out of the way. Even the people that are just there for the candy. Like, it was like, everyone get out of the way kind of thing. Like, let people park.
It was even at the beginning, too. Mm-hmm. Like, people are trying to park. They're standing in the middle of the road.
Yep.
You're standing in front of parking spots.
Yeah.
That seems like
Got to get the gist.
we can talk a little more like about things you really like about what you do and things you don't like, because I do want to come back to the parking thing, because man, I don't know how you do it, because I've had meltdowns before and I'm like, I'm leaving.
Yep.
But it's not anything. It's not your doing. It's just like other people with the people with the parking. I sound like an old man.
Yeah,
and another thing, but no, it's stressful. But I do want to talk too. Like, so you took over from kind of the Cars and Coffee stuff that Chris Ruby started, and when did those start here in Central Illinois?
I want to say around 2014, 15. Okay. They started in Lowe's. I remember, like, people that
were they at Lowe's?
Yeah, Lowe's for, like, they only had like 20 cars, and then they thought about, like, let's go to Methodist. And the Methodist, they started getting bigger and bigger and bigger in Junction City.
And that's when I jumped in, was at the Atrium. I think I met you kind of at the mall. I don't know.
Yeah, it might have been there.
Or Junction City. Yeah,
Junction City was my favorite part. Like, definitely my favorite one out of all.
Cool.
That's the one where I pissed off Chris because we camped out there.
I don't know on it.
That was a while back.
But and then another thing too is we moved it to multiple different places and just tried it out. And I think that everyone did like the delivery district a lot due to the shopping and stuff.
Yeah.
So
So for the uninitiated who aren't from Central Illinois listening, we got a lot of listeners all over, but Central Illinois, we say that it's really Peoria, right? Peoria, East Peoria, that kind of area is what we're talking about. Bloomington, Illinois, which is just over the river and stuff, they have their own kind of car scene, but it's not. It is not what this is. Yeah. And this one seems like it really got solidified. It actually has so much like pull. I've got friends up in Chicago. They're like, we're going to drive down for. We've read about or heard about Peoria's car scene. It's awesome.
People from Effingham. I mean, I've heard,
I got people from St. Louis and Iowa coming down.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's nuts. And that's been going on for a couple of years now. Yeah. So, like, Cars and Coffee, first Saturday of the month, right? Mm-hmm. From, like, what, 8 to 11?
8 to 11, 11:30.
Okay. And it's perfect because, and a lot of other communities kind of started doing that. Did it start, like, in California? Is it like a California thing?
Yeah, I think it's a California thing.
Well, I was just going to ask, is there like a formal organization? When you say you got to get insurance.
So the insurance covers me if someone hits the building.
I get that, but is there like a policy you get through some kind of a corporation or?
So like my insurance, my actual car insurance, they do it like State Farm.
Seriously?
Yeah, they do even insurances.
Okay.
Nice. Yeah.
So the thing about Cars and Coffee is it's everywhere, but it's also nobody. It's no organization
You
at all.
trademarked or anything?
You could do LLCs on it, but it's really rare unless it's very big. Like Chrome and Coffee, for example, up in Chicago. I'm sure they got an LLC because it's Chrome and Coffee, and it's very big and high-end cars.
Yeah.
Unless it's bigger names like Daytona Cars and Coffee or Miami Cars and Coffee. I thought about it. We're still thinking about it, to do an LLC on it. But right now we're currently just kind of just setting sail on not doing an LLC. It's because we're not making profit on it yet.
No.
It's going to take a lot more than 2 for an LLC to be
Yeah.
kind of a thing.
Yeah, you probably have to get like
You have to have a
lawyer
board.
and stuff, right?
Yeah, and you have to get a board too
Yeah.
on
Okay.
top of it.
Yeah.
So
There's a little more logistics behind it. But
And the board has to be qualified, in quotations.
so almost like another like a club or organization.
Yeah.
You got to have like a president and
Yep.
all that crap. Yeah, I mean all that important stuff. So I guess let's just start off too. Like you're obviously a gearhead.
Yeah.
What got you interested in cars?
So my first car was a '96 Z28 Camaro. I picked it up for
Yes.
$500.
Oh, man, that was like the first car I ever made fun of.
Oh man, I didn't care for the front end. I liked the LT1 motor that I had in it. My brother was a gearhead, like from the military. He had a GTO, and then like I always worked on with him.
That's
but
cool.
when I was 16, he's like, dude, let's go get this Camaro. It has this blown head gasket. He's like, we'll take the heads off, get them milled, and put brand new heads on it, and flush the systems out. And it was a 6-speed manual, and that's how
wow.
that's how I learned how to drive a manual. Was my first car.
Yeah.
And so I was we worked on it for like 6 months. I put like $1,000 into it. It wasn't the best looking car, but it definitely ran the best. I feel like.
Fun car.
Yeah,
I mean you were.
fun.
I mean younger. I take it. Right?
Yeah,
So
I was turning 17 as soon as I got it on the streets.
So it was like a rocket ship, probably. When you're at that age. Yeah.
And it was straight piped, and it was just
Loud.
loud. We did the EGR delete,
Yeah.
and delete system, and it was just so much fun. Like he helped me a lot, and like ever since then, I started going to Cars and Coffee and Friday Night Lights, and then Chris called me one day. He's like, "Hey, I'm leaving, man. Like I really think you are the best fit." And I was kind of hesitant at first. I definitely could tell you I was hesitant at first.
Yeah.
And I did ask, like, who is going to take over? He's like, honestly, if it's not you, it might not be anyone or the city, or it might be just a city thing. And I'm like, okay. So he threw me that football, and I might have fumbled it a couple times, but I definitely think I'm getting on the right path, getting Jacob involved, and for sure. So
Yeah, well, and when something has that momentum too, I mean, Eric, you know this. Like anything you're involved in, something's good. It's successful. It's got that momentum. That handoff is important, right? You can't just like hand it to somebody you know is going to just completely like, oh, they're gonna crash all this.
Well,
it's not going to work.
And from what I know from being an SCCA and doing trail team and stuff like that, when you have a volunteer organization, there's ebb and flow, you know. So, and every time something good happens, you know, you're not going to hear that much. But when something bad happens, oh man,
it's everywhere.
Yeah, everybody just
like
sings on
moving it.
Facebook about the horrors of, you know, things are going down the hill. I'm going to start my own club, you know.
Yeah.
But it's funny how even through all these ups and downs, we've always been there, right? And we've always been there at Cars and Coffee. You've done a great job managing the ebbs and flows of that.
Yeah, there's been points like last year was probably the roughest year. I probably came to you and talked to you a little bit about like, dude, I don't know how much more I could take of it. I'll be honest, because like the rude comments and like just it's like, are they true car people or am I a true car person? Like that's the thing. Is like, I don't know. Like if a real car person would understand, I feel like what it takes to put into a car.
Well, yeah, let's talk a little bit.
Daryl can talk about that for days, I think, because you've been part of the car culture with the classic car enthusiasts, and Cars and Coffee is a different feel. Again, and I think Jake brought this up in the pre-show. I call you Jake. Can I call you Jake?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
That's actually
it's
what everybody calls me at work.
Jacob.
So.
There you go.
No, but you know, some guy may show up with a young kid may show up with his first car and just be thrilled with it, and to him it's $1 million. To him it's a Porsche, you know, but to somebody else who's had nice cars their whole life and they're 60 or 70 years old, they may not be able to wrap their head around and respect the cars sitting side by side.
Yep.
They're at a totally different spot in their life.
Yes.
You know, and they're so far removed from like you were saying.
Yep.
I imagine if you rolled up in Cars and Coffee years ago, you had that Camaro, it's running good, you know, you and your brother worked on it, you put a clutch in it, you put all the stuff, fix the head gaskets. That's like such a moment where you roll in, everyone's like looking, and you're
yes,
like, this,
it's a big deal.
It is. But someone else, has probably got like a pristine 69 SS Camaro that spent like $50,000 on a restoration. They're like, what's this kid doing here? The nice thing I will say this about, at least from, and I've lived a couple cities, not a ton, but like this area, everybody's down to earth for the most part. Everybody's cool. There isn't a whole ton of ego. There isn't a lot of like, mine's better than yours. Yeah. And the Cars and Coffee, at least, my experience since, that kind of got started, everybody is there because they love cars, and they don't care what it is. They don't care if it's import. They don't care if it's old, if it's new, if it's a supercar. Everybody's just there to have a good time. Yeah. And I really have a lot of respect for the car culture here locally, and the folks like you guys that help continue to have events like that bring people in. Like you're saying, it's not like you have to pay $30 to a registration fee or whatever.
Exactly.
This is like a kind of a, just, what do you call it? Just a cruise in, right? Like everybody just run what they brung, and there's no ego. And that's the greatest part, because I've seen younger kids come in with like an old clapped out Camaro or something, and I'm like, that's cool, man, because in 20 years you'll be here with like your next project, and that's where it is. Jacob, you're a bike guy. So you want to talk a little bit about that kind of perspective too. Did you start getting involved in Cars and Coffee because it was just a fun thing to do, or were you bringing a bike in here, or what?
It's definitely because I just love cars in general. I've kind of grown up not necessarily working on them, but being around them.
Okay.
My grandpa has I don't remember what year it is. I think it's a 95 Pontiac Trans Am WS6, I think is what it is.
The Ram Air one.
Yeah. Does not let anybody drive it. It's like his baby. It's the automatic one, so it's not as special as the manual, but it's still a really nice car. I think I've seen it driven once.
Oh.
And it's because he took it down the street and back.
That was it?
To see if it would run. Yep, and it's been sitting in the garage under tarp and all that for, I think, 15 years now.
Maybe someday. Someday you might
we're
get to drive it.
pleading him that
he's saving
like
it
if
for
he's
the
gonna
next guy.
if he's
Just
sell
drive
it,
the thing.
if he's gonna sell it, we want to be the first ones to buy it,
Uh-huh.
because my dad already has plans on what he wants to do to it.
Nice.
And the bikes, I think it started when I got my first dirt bike around 10, 12 years old. Started on a KTM 65 SX, piece of junk.
Oh,
was it? No, well, when I bought it was $800, 2002, carbureted, 2-stroke. We put a lot of work into it. That's what kind of got me going with everything, because building it and then going out there and runs great.
Yeah. Was that the first thing you kind of wrenched on?
Yeah, it was that. It was. I remember the first thing we did was the exhaust. We took off the crappy stock exhaust. We put on a FMF. Sounded amazing, and then blew a piston. So we had to get that taken in. They fixed that all up for us. We kept. I think I still have the piston at home that broke.
It's like a trophy.
Yeah, and it was just going out to the track and ripping it. And it was just, why not go wide open on this jump? What is there to lose? I'm 12 years old.
Yeah, your neck, but you know.
Oh, I had all the gear on and everything. I wasn't that big of an idiot.
Okay.
That, and then when I got to 17 years old, I was like, I'm getting a street bike. I'm getting one, no matter what you say. My mom was very against it.
Yeah.
I think it took me 12, 13 months to get her to agree with it. Went up in January of last year, got my first one, got my permit, rode a little bit, got my license. Just been going ever since. Met a great group of people that I ride with. Probably a decent amount.
Yeah.
Not always. Sometimes I like to ride by myself.
Yeah.
But it's great to meet new people, especially joining different scenes. The car scenes, you meet a lot of great people. Bike scene, you meet a lot of great people. Could also meet a lot of bad people, both sides.
Sure.
It's just connections, like he says, with the meets and stuff like that. Just going out there and be yourself, meet people.
Absolutely.
Sorry.
No, you're fine.
I had a question on top of my head, and it just totally lost me. So,
car scene?
Yeah.
That's all
right. Anyway, I'll have to edit this section because Eric had a brain fart while he was about it. So
you're fine. Well, as long as you're talking about being involved in obviously planning the events and it's a year-round thing, right? I mean, it's not just
April to October.
Yeah.
Oh, it was about. I know where I was going.
Yeah.
So you talked about January, buying the bike in January. It seems to me like bike guys they ride their bike until like October, and then they put them up for sale, and then they buy a bike in the spring. It seems counterintuitive to me because it seems like you get a lot of great deals if you were to buy bikes in October.
Maybe not right after the season's over, but definitely like December, January time. That's when the prices are going to be low.
Yeah.
They're going to be, well, not as low as spring, but they're going to be very easy to get to. Nobody's riding them. You're not going to really expect the miles to go up. All the new models come out around that December, January part.
Okay.
So if you want to get, let's say, 2026 model comes out, well, you go early January, you got first dibs. And on from there. But if you go early spring, you could probably pick up a decent bike for cheap.
Okay.
It's probably just so they don't have to pay for storage. You see that with old cars, too.
Yeah.
Like, guys will be like, this is for sale here, winter deal. You're like, that's because you don't want to pay $250 a month to store the thing. That's what that is.
Is bike culture, again, because of winter weather, I guess it's like classic cars, though, too. Do guys just kind of like hide their bikes out in the wintertime and then work on stuff, and that's a good time to kind of put them away and tinker?
It just really depends on where you live at.
Okay.
If you're over here in Illinois, obviously everybody's going to be up for the general, I think, 4 months about the time. Mm-hmm. Most of them will do like cosmetic work. Sometimes they'll do repairs, engine rebuilds, stuff like that. Nothing too crazy. Most of the time it's just sitting on the charger.
What's the air temperature got to be before you'll pull out in the spring?
Good question.
If I'm really anxious, 50 degrees. Oh. But if I'm not, it's 55, 60.
Okay.
Because the temperature drops about 10, 15 degrees when you're out there riding.
I was going to say, like 65, 70 mile an hour. 50 feels pretty brisk, I imagine.
It just depends. Like, if you're riding in city, it's going to be a lot warmer.
Yeah.
That temperature's not going to drive as much. But if you're an interstate warrior, whatever they call themselves, that like to go super fast, you're going to be cold real quick.
Yeah.
You better have a lot of layers on.
Well, Preston, you don't have that problem because you have
four wheels.
4 wheels and an enclosed car.
Oh yeah.
Do we tell people what you drive? What's your daily?
A Toyota Supra.
Oh,
2020.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I forgot to mention that. He's a
about
Toyota
that?
guy, too.
Oh yeah.
And it is in the beautiful red.
Yep.
And you've done some work to it too. It's not stock. She's not stock. What all have you done to yours?
It's full bolt-ons. It's down. I have a down pipe, charge pipe, mid pipe, tune, bigger injectors.
Okay.
Cold air intake. And that's it right now.
It is a slick
wheels.
car.
Wheels.
That thing looks. It still looks showroom fresh. I know you have it out there at the Cars and Coffee events and stuff like that. So, for folks just coming up on it, like, oh, that's pretty clean. That's pretty clean. But that is your legit daily driver.
Yep.
Wow.
86,000 miles.
That's insane.
And you push all the sponsors for the events on it, too, which is really cool because that's your personal car.
Yeah.
I don't remember Chris doing that on his car. Mm-mm. Yeah, so
I just want to show the appreciation of the support of all my sponsors for sure. I even told him that he doesn't have to do that same thing or whatnot. Like this year, we're gonna probably do another different thing too. Is put like a table out in front of my car or beside my car, maybe beside both of our vehicles. With all the sponsor stuff on it, like maybe just have like little sections of like Ford's, Toyota,
that's
Detail
cool.
Peoria,
Put some stickers and
swag table,
like a swag table kind of thing, and like people just come up and grab a sticker kind of thing. Or whatnot.
That's actually really good. That's a really good idea. When you talk about coordinating an event, of course, everybody thinks like, okay, you got to find a venue. Find a couple people to do like food trucks or bring in a beverage, a coffee truck or something like that, which you guys are always good about doing. But it's so much more than that, right? You've got insurance, you've got the sponsors, you've got somebody's got to be there to kind of help park stuff the day of and then clean up after. Mm-hmm. What all goes into like something that's just, it's 3 hours every once a month. That's not a big deal. What all goes into that?
Like I explained to him, I'm there if the event, if it's Friday Night Lights, I'm there by 3 or 4 if it starts at 6.
Yeah.
I will tell you, the older generation, I don't think they got a life. Like, I'll be honest. Like,
are they there at like 2?
They're at 2.
Be careful, they listen.
They're there
setting up a lawn chair.
I'm sorry.
No, it's funny. It's funny.
But some people will be sitting there saving 6, 7 spots, and it's like they'll be irritating people because there's people still trying to shop at Bass Pro or or go over to the Putt Club, but they're saving 8, 9 spots and putting canopies up at 2:00 in the afternoon, and it doesn't start till 6. And they're complaining because it's how hot it is, and there's no Kona ice ain't there yet, and it's like,
well, you can't do anything about the sun, Preston. Come on,
better turn the AC on or something. I don't know, but
that's the kind of stuff though. Like, okay, so you got the logistics stuff that you got to work out, and obviously folks like Jake are helping out, and that's huge. What are some of the things that you enjoy most? I mean, even though you're working the events, you're setting stuff up, you're doing the promotion on social media, which you also do a really good job of, like setting those Facebook events and stuff. I know you're on, and you're kind of on the clock when you're working there, but I still see you out there pressing the flesh, having fun, talking to people, and you just seem super chill the day of. I'm sure that's not the case. I'm sure you're probably, it's like, dude, it's so stressful.
Behind the scenes,
it's
behind
super
the scenes,
chaotic.
he definitely can tell
Very,
you behind
very
the scenes.
chaotic.
I'm very stressed. Like, definitely is stressful.
But like, what do you enjoy doing? When you're there doing it?
The best thing I could think of every time is seeing the faces that I know, and like seeing the faces again every time, and it's like I'm doing something right because they're still smiling. Another thing I like to see too is like when someone gets a brand new car that they want to show me. It's like, yo, Preston, come over here. I want to show you these. Or like, hey, I got new wheels. Preston, how do you like them? I'm like, they care what my opinion really is, and I care about everyone's opinion about the car show. I don't like the stuff coming back, like if it's like raging or whatever. Like if it's not a really opinion. It's just complaining.
Yeah.
I will listen to any opinions or suggestions for sure.
Yeah.
But my favorite things is seeing the great people, the connections, 100%. When people are smiling and having fun and not complaining, like that's my biggest thing. Is then I think I felt like I did my job correctly. Like
successful.
Yeah. I like seeing younger generations talking to the older generations about their 1986. Model T, or I don't know, like just the old stuff. Like, that's the biggest thing, man. Is like that is definitely the best thing I could see. And like I don't know anything about really really old cars that's carbureted, and it's like some of these older gentlemen or older ladies could work on it. It's like that connection with the younger generation, the older generation. Because when I was growing up, it's like, those darn young kids, get out of my yard.
Right.
I mean,
with your loud cars and your motorcycles.
Yeah, and that's the biggest thing is it's getting everyone together and bringing a positive to the community for sure.
So, do you guys have walkie-talkies throughout the event?
No, we just...
You need some. We need to donate some,
No,
like
I usually call them if I get lost.
I've tried that, though, and he doesn't answer. Dude,
it's sometimes work. I think I called him 10 times during the truck or treat, and he answered 3 times.
Busting them out.
I ended up I would just run and try and find him.
Yeah.
Well, he just blocked Eric's all calls.
It's funny, though.
Do not call list.
Listen, Forts has been a sponsor, and I always support local car culture. Whether it's racing or it's cars and coffee. But Preston is always so diligent about saying, hey, I got a couple spots for you. How many do you want? Blah, blah. And so the day of, I'll be like rolling down there. I'm like, oh, my spot's still open. I'm like all worried. So I'm trying to call him. Of course, he's busy as heck. If you ever see Preston at Cars and Coffee, you'll see 20 people around him. Probably talking about God knows what, like you were talking about before. So the thought that I could get a phone call through to him is probably crazy. But my spot is always there.
Yeah.
I don't know how you protect the spot. People would drive over those cones at any other event.
Yep,
it's cones and luck.
I thought it was fear and intimidation is what it was.
Yeah, I will tell you that I've got on some older people about running over my cones, and they could bluntly see it, and they did bluntly, obviously, did it on purpose.
Yeah.
And it takes a little courage to kind of step up and be like that person to go up and confront someone. I'll be honest. I know I did it with some of the bikes, and sometimes I come off as the wrong way, but at the same time, it's like a lot of people don't understand how much more is behind the scenes stressful,
right?
Because the sponsors pay for those spots.
Yeah,
that's the thing. Is
right.
A lot of the people that don't understand that and they don't care, they don't understand. Like, it does cost money to run these.
I think the perception of Cars and Coffee, though, is a bit of controlled chaos.
Mm-hmm.
So since there isn't a formal organization, people feel like they can kind of come and do what they want.
Yeah.
Or it's like a public event, and I can just do it. Yeah, same thing. I do what I want.
They also see it's a free event.
Mm-hmm.
So they're like, might as well.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, let's talk a little bit about that, too, because anybody that has interest in putting events on, and we know a lot of folks, too, like, oh, I want to do a show, or I want to do the swap meet, or I want to do a road rally or something like that. Everybody's got ideas, but, like, when they actually talk to people who have done it, like you guys, like, what are those things that you either enjoy the least or, like, is, like, a bigger challenge that you didn't think of? You're like, sure, I'll do these, and you like, get into it. You're like, oh, crap, I got to deal with this. Like, what are those things that are kind of, like, just difficult to do?
The first step literally the first step is the most difficult. Getting started is literally the most difficult. Once you start that process of, okay, I already talked to the city. Okay, I just talked to Bass Pro. I just made a page. They definitely, the first steps, I literally keep going back. Like, I told him, like, Jacob's kind of shy as a person on the outside. Like, when I first met him, he rolled up, and I was looking at his bike, and I'm, like, talking to him about his bike and everything, and he opened up. As soon as he warms up, like, that first couple steps.
Yeah,
and, like,
yeah.
I'll be honest, no one's scary of a person. Like, you could go up to someone that's famous. They're going to talk to you.
Especially about cars or bikes or whatever they're into.
Yes.
And if everybody's into the same thing, that's like the great equalizer, right?
Exactly.
Like, same thing. Like, this dude's 80. I can talk to him on, dude, cool Corvette or, like, whatever. Yeah. Like, everybody's in the same place for the same reason. Yep. And that's probably what helps.
And, like, another thing, too, is, like, a perfect example is we just started our cars and coffee merch on the website. I didn't have the connections for it. We used to order 100 T-shirts, and once we run out, we run out. We don't have that issue anymore. Rick Swan from the city council, great guy. Like, I'll be honest, like, the city does definitely help.
City of East Peoria?
Yep.
Okay.
Yes. They really help. He actually gave me the contact for Teamworks, and they created me the website. They just order the things, and they work on them and ship them out. I don't even have to touch the product anymore.
You don't got to have, like, a box of
T-shirts,
small T-shirts in your car for 2
years. Worst, man.
And it's like,
I know.
And towards the end of the year, it's like, how big are you? Oh, small. Here, like, start chucking 2 or 3. It's like,
give this to somebody.
Yeah.
And it's like,
to the lady in your life.
Yeah, like, that's the biggest thing is the getting started and getting those new connections. When I first taken over Cars and Coffee, the connections were the roughest. Like, I definitely didn't know who to talk to. Detail Pure just got bought out by Scott and Sue at the time. By Nick.
That happened around the same time?
Around the same time, yeah.
Okay.
I didn't know Scott and Sue very well, but great people. Yeah. Jack's Wax, I didn't know them very well other than being in their car group at the same time because they had their own little car group, but it wasn't like no car shows or anything like that.
Yeah.
It's just a bunch of friends getting together and hanging out. The connections, the first steps are always the worst, I feel like, starting a car show. Because when you go up to the venue and be like, hey, I want to do a car show, the first thing they're going to think about is those terrifying YouTube videos of donuts and drifting and takeovers.
Let's just say it out loud.
Why would that happen? Jeez.
Mustangs going into a crowd.
Well, there was a Scion FRS at Junction City.
Yep, went into the ditch.
That orange one. Remember, it hopped the curb, went right in the ditch.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Made it Facebook famous there.
I think it was like a cover photo for like a couple of weeks. Yeah. And somebody's like, take it down. It was me.
But I was there at the atrium when there was a classic car got smacked and T-boned. Mm-hmm. I remember, lost a front wheel.
Green Camaro?
Yeah.
Somebody T-boned him?
Yeah.
I remember. So, I mean, okay. I'll throw that out there, too. I mean, obviously you have event insurance. And the one variable you can't, there's 2, right? There's the weather. Yeah. You've got the dreaded, especially in Illinois. It's
dude, and you got to make the call the day before all the time.
And it's always the day before. I try to make it 2 or 3 hours beforehand, but I got people coming from out of town, might be even staying in hotels the night before. And it's so crazy because I would get messages like, oh, you shouldn't have canceled it.
Yeah, or we showed up anyway. That type
we showed up. It's fine.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, dude. Yeah. Do you want a blue metal or something? Like, this is dumb. Blue ribbon, not blue metal. What the hell am I saying?
A pat on the back.
I was thinking Pabst Blue Ribbon is what I was thinking. No, but the other variable you can't control that's always kind of like the big question mark are like what people are going to do. Whether it's
thinking.
Revving, you've got your music blasting super, super loud. You're like, oh, come on, dude, like, knock it off. Yeah. Or you've got people doing the burnouts and, that kind of stuff.
Well, and
how do you handle some of that?
I'll be honest with you. I have a saying, if you see something, say something. And people know. Once someone takes a picture of that truck or that car or that motorcycle and it's posted on Facebook, they're going to get found out no matter what. People's literally be like, hey, this is Joe Smo over here. Like, oh, okay, thank you.
So the guy who's doing donuts in the white truck that one year.
In the grass got found within 10 minutes. got literally phone could zoom in pretty far nowadays.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, the BMW kid.
Yeah, the BMW kid.
How long did it take to find him? I think a day.
No. So do you know those black cameras with the solar on them?
Yeah.
They get your facial recognition and license plate every time.
Was somebody doing something?
He ran from the police.
The cop was going to pull him over.
Like leaving the event or going to or something?
Yeah, he was going to pull. The cop was going the opposite direction and look back, and his taillight was out. He was going to flip around, and just pull him over and just give him a warning, like, "Hey, your taillight's out." He ran, and he passed one of those, and they're all over the place down there.
Yeah. They're municipal. You pay for them as a city, like Mackinac has them. Believe me, I've talked to the mayor. They pay for a service that monitors the ins and outs of the plates. They can look through spreadsheets and see when a car came and went.
I've seen them with like Amber Alerts or missing persons. So like, oh yeah, here's the person, and here's the car, and here's the driver.
Yeah,
we got
him.
him.
Passed by here at 8:21 a.m. on Thursday. Yeah,
and it's the city of East Peoria. They're on top of almost anything and everything that they can possibly get on top of. Like the police officers. A few of them have my personal phone number. That, like Eric said, it's hard to get a hold of me. They actually come find me if something is actually an issue. Yeah. Which is kind of terrifying for me, but they just
come around. If the police came bum rushing me, I'm like, oh God, who died? Right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, so they came up and they're like, hey, Preston, I just wanted to see if you know this guy. And they showed me the photo of the car and the license plate. I'm like, I don't know. And he's like, well, we looked the license plate up in the records. It literally less than 5 minutes. They got the picture of the car. Yeah. They got the picture of the license plate, and as soon as they type the license plate in, it goes back to the person and where he lives and the phone number.
So this is like two facets to this, though. I mean, some people will say that sucks the fun out of the event because the police are there. So I've heard people complain, but I've seen people do stupid things that roundabout.
Yep.
And I'm like, why would you do that? Yeah. What part of you thinks that's proper behavior in a downtown area?
Yeah.
It's necessary policing. With all the kids running around and
man, as the youngest guy at the table for you to say this, please go ahead. I'm intrigued.
You got tons of kids running around. You got families crossing streets, stuff like that. We don't need people burning out. What if they lose control?
Yeah.
Now they're flying into a family of 4. Now that's a huge tragedy, and the city's got to get on it. And now you just ruined the event. Go back to that one kid that we were talking about that ran. He didn't do it once. He did it twice. Mm-hmm. And you're not going to get away with anything, even if the cops aren't there.
Yeah. And it's just time and a place, right?
Yeah.
Here's the only thing I would say is like when Cars and Coffee was at Northwoods, people seemed pretty well behaved, but then they would get right onto 74, and you would just hear like
it's like a drag race.
War Memorial.
Oh my!
You turn on the War Memorial, and everybody be standing there at the JCPenney's or whatever that was, and be just waiting for you to jump on it. Of course, I'm in the Super or the FRS, like, oh yeah, watch me.
Yeah, right.
It's kind of the same thing with ours right now, but it's not
close.
really right next to us. But you can go up the little bridge and go on the.
Yeah, you can.
And the cops are cool.
Yeah,
they really are.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you. I've actually had few experience that I witnessed that a young kid in a Ford Focus. I ain't pointing out any fingers. I'm not saying what color.
Yeah.
But if he's listening, he probably knows who he is. But, But long story short, the cop, he was revving, like constantly revving, and it's like the cop. You could definitely tell the cop was getting annoyed, and like the cop's just looking kind of like really like.
Yeah.
And like the cops are friendly about it. They actually are good cops. Like I will admit, there is good cops and there are bad cops out there. Mm-hmm. I haven't met one that's in East Peoria's law enforcement team that is bad. Yeah. I'll be honest with you because they all give people chances. Another thing too with East Peoria is if they were so strict on us, the first burnout ever happened, we would have been probably kicked out.
Right.
And that would have been in the Libby district.
Yeah.
They know how much we try our best with the event, and they know that what it brings to the community. It brings the most positive impact to the community, and that's the thing is, people sometimes say, "Well, the cops are making it bad" or whatnot. Well, no, they wouldn't be there if people were doing the right thing and following the rules and stuff like that.
But I like having the presence there too. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah, they roll through.
Yeah, if they just ignored you guys and let you get away with it, whatever, I mean, then things could get out of control.
Yes.
So it's a good switching valve to make sure everybody kind of stays in order, right?
Yeah.
Something I did want to talk about, though, the other aspect that Cars and Coffee does bring is foot traffic in places that sometimes, maybe even on a Saturday morning, doesn't see a whole lot of traffic. Yeah. So when it was in the Levy District or when it was in Junction City.
Junction City, and I even think about 3030 Coffee when it was down at the atrium.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God. You couldn't get a coffee. You'd stand there for 2 hours waiting for a coffee.
But that's a happy problem, right? Because it's an economic boost to that area.
Yep.
And even Bass Pro, you said they've kind of like, hey, we want you guys coming back here with the Cars and Coffee. Big, huge Bass Pro shops in East Peoria. If nobody's been there, it is gigantic. It's a big regional draw. But like Saturday mornings, probably not really a whole lot going on. But the later, as Cars and Coffee spins up, people go in there like, oh, I'm going to go in and get a shirt, or I'm going to go look at whatever, or grab some beef jerky.
Yeah,
I always buy
exactly.
beef jerky.
Definitely snacks. Yeah.
And the Friday Night Lights, it's great too because it brings that foot traffic into that store. People are getting ready for the weekend. There's like a mini golf place that opened up there.
Puck Club.
I mean, talk a little bit about the economic incentives that like. Hey, these events are good for the community, not only for all the community building and the culture and all the connections there, but like, hey, we bring money in.
Yeah,
right.
We do honestly. Like, I'll give you an honest answer right here. Jack Sprax, takes Jack Sprax as an example. They had an 8x8 table when they first started. I remember when Chris first got them on board and everything, and we didn't know what to expect from them. I'll be honest. Great people. And just getting to know them, we're just great people, and they work. They actually work a job, and this is their secondary kind of job.
Oh wow!
Like
okay.
this is not their like actual job. This is their like favorite hobby.
Yeah,
I want to say.
Okay.
But like this is they started growing and growing and growing and getting that name out there, and now they got a big old car trailer with a bunch of product, with a big canopy, with 8 tables, and now a storefront.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing. We just were growing the community and growing the companies with this. So I definitely do see the plus side about growing the community, growing the companies, 100% for sure.
Well, and East Peoria obviously sees that too because it's. I don't want to say it's a
they
commodity,
don't benefit from it. It's not like you're saying, all right, if you're renting a venue for a concert or something like that, you'd say, all right, I got to pay $1,200 to have the space. East Peoria could say, all right, you can have the parking lot, which we own for Bass Pro, but it's going to be $800. They don't do anything. They see the value in having all those people there, and they know that if Bass Pro didn't think it was worth their time, they'd say, no, we really don't want it here. Yeah. They have not. No. They have not given any negative comments to it, right?
No. They honestly asked for us before even the season closes. Like, are they coming back next year? Like, Hunter, we want them back. They actually got really involved with the trunk or treat this last year.
Oh, okay.
They actually set up like 2 tents in front of their whole thing and handing out candy and flyers.
Cool. That's awesome.
And I'm like, that just shows that I know that I'm doing a positive thing.
Yeah.
With Bass Pro. I wish there was more car shows like this. I'll be honest with you. I've already seen the Richards Young's Dix List. The Dix List is all car shows, and
we've talked about Dix List before.
Yeah, it's actually getting really small. I will be honest. It's getting.
I'm glad you said it, but I'm also sad you said it because I've noticed the same thing. Yeah. That list of events, it seems like it's getting smaller. Things are either fizzling out or folks like don't want to take it over. You know what I mean?
I thought there was like some. Anyway, maybe that's pre-show material. Was there some animosity in some of the selections on that Dix List too?
No, there's just like a process you got to go to get on it and stuff.
Okay, right.
But that's the thing. People don't want to follow rules. People don't want to do what you tell them to do.
Yeah.
I do want to ask this too because as somebody who's been involved in some events, it's like, okay, hosting an event, running an event, cool. Sometimes do you just want to go and show up and show your car and participate and not have to worry about this stuff?
Yeah. I will be honest. I only go to a few car shows other than mine. Because I'm just so not drained or worn out. But I'm just kind of like, okay, I'm not over the car scene. I'm just
it takes its toll.
I want to take a weekend off So
what do you do for fun? What other events do you go to?
I'll go play hockey, not hockey, golf out at one of the golfing ranges or just driving ranges. I'd rather just hang out, have maybe a couple beers or something, and then play some golf or whatnot, or just go to St. Louis or Chicago, go out of the town kind of thing.
Disconnect a little bit.
Yeah, and because I will be honest, from April to October, or like he's going to witness it this year, the business page is just going to, we have those scammers that always put, sign up here for the business sponsorship.
Or
forms.
buy T-shirts on this website that they've scalped you or something like that.
I've already seen, I think, 10
and
or 11 of them.
And it's like, from April to October, that's a whole other 24-hour job kind of thing. Like, and like he's seen me to this when he walked in, I was already on my phone, kind of like looking at it and
deleting and blocking stuff. Jacob, are you doing some of that social media now?
I am. I only answer really questions that I'm capable of answering and stuff that I know. If it's something I don't think I can answer, I'll just have him do it for me.
You gonna start doing any like TikToks or Instagrams?
No, I'm
Come on,
not
man.
really into that. No.
Gotta step it up.
Not
I mean,
yet.
I have
You volunteer?
TikTok and
No,
Instagram
no.
page. It's just I'm not as up to date with it.
It sounds terrible, but and I don't feel. I know I'm busy, but I always feel like these events should be pretty convenient for me. But I swear to God, last year I think I worked like 3 Saturdays.
You were busy. Yeah, you worked weekends or you had other commitments.
Yeah.
I mean, it's tough too. I mean, the Saturday morning thing is great because some folks like me, like, it's the one day I don't have anything to do. I can and do it. But then a lot of my friends that are into the car scene, like, hell, I've got, ball games, I got stuff with the kids, or it.
When it
There's
does
always
work,
something.
it's like magical because what will happen is we'll hit the Cars and Coffee in the morning, and then by 10:45, 11 o'clock, we're like, all right, now we're going to go to the next spot and maybe hit another car show or something like that.
Do like 2 and 3 of the day.
Those are like the best days. I remember, I think last year we ran around and even went to like a garage sale and bought some.
Is there you bought like 12 gas cans?
Yeah.
All right, so this guy, he collects the old gas cans before they ruined them.
Oh, man.
With like the good spouts.
Anything that requires a button or a trigger or a safety, I don't like those. So
Like the California's new where you have to press the gas nozzle down to even come out.
yeah.
The green thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we were at a garage sale last year, and there was an old man had died, and he had a milk bucket just full, or an ice cream bucket just full of old metal spouts. I'm like, and it said $3. It was half off everything. I'm like, for $1.50.
Buy 'em
And
all.
they're all looking at me like, you're buying that box of spouts? I'm like, yeah, I'm buying that.
Who's laughing now?
Oh, man.
Exactly.
That's fun though. But you're right though. Like those are the weekends that I look forward to. Especially it seems like early on.
Yeah.
Those first couple Cars and Coffees in the spring where everybody's got like cabin fever and they're like,
Yeah.
give me
Let's get out."
something to do. And like you're saying, people got the new cars.
Yeah.
That's when they roll out, right?
Yeah.
It's like, hey, I bought this thing, or I just finished this over the winter. Check it out. It's showtime.
Yep.
I love the first ones in like April and May where it's just like
I
wandering through a whole new field. It's awesome.
Well, in the fall, though, too, Friday Night Lights in the fall, it starts getting
colder.
a little cooler. Yeah, because I tell you what, some of those Friday Night Lights in the summertime, it is hot when that thing fires up. Man.
Oh, yeah.
I wait until like 6 or 7 o'clock before I even want to roll down
And
there.
just imagine the older crowd are there at 2 o'clock, and it's like, dude, like,
What are you
and
doing?
like I'll roll up, and like they'll be like sleeping. It's like
Yeah.
I think it was the last one we went to. I saw somebody set a lawn chair next to their car, and Daryl and I were standing next to each other, and I'm like, that's old guard style right there.
Yeah.
Cars and Coffee to me isn't like going to the Delavan Park. And we're going to set up a couple of our cars. Our car club's going to join up over here.
You got to be mobile.
Yes.
You got to
Yeah.
be up and walking around and meeting people.
Yeah.
Cars and Coffee I like too because, and my wife points this out. She's like, we didn't actually like stay at our car and talk to anybody at all.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, that's the point.
Yeah.
I want to be able to get out there and meet people and I do want to throw this out here though, and I'm not trying to take over or tell you how to run this event.
No, you're good.
But I think there should be a rule, a hard and fast rule. If you're at an event where there's like food and beverage retailers, and you bring a cooler, I'm going to beat you.
Oh, I brought a cooler. Are you
That's
gonna beat
different.
me?
No, because that's hardwired in your truck. That's different. And you give me like a Pellegrino, and I was like, felt fancy. Plus, it was like 108 degrees that night.
It was.
No, but like, you know what I mean? Like, if you have, I'll go through all that trouble. Like, hey, we got a
Yes.
coffee vendor. Hey, we got somebody selling breakfast
You should
burritos.
absolutely be buying from those people.
Like, and somebody's there like with a, something they brought from home. You're like, what are you doing? Support the local events, the sponsors that help put them on. I'm not saying you got to do it all the time, every time, but like, it really helps, especially nowadays where everything's just like, we want to continue to support local businesses and keep the money in the communities that they're in, right? Like, so if you're going to Casey's and getting something and then munching around on it all day, that's cool. But do that like every other day of the week. When you go into some of these events, spend $5, buy a coffee from the vendor there. I'm just going to throw that.
No,
out
I think that's.
I'll be honest. I'm glad you brought it up because it does bring a lot. It does. When that one car show, they don't have a coffee truck. Like a coffee truck canceled last minute last year, and that one car show.
Oh, people blew you up.
Blew me up because I didn't bring coffee, or I get it. I 100% get it.
But that's not on you. I mean, stuff happens.
Yeah.
I mean, you can have,
and it is hard to get vendors in like that because that is one thing. Because food trucks and food drinking vehicles like Kona Ice and coffee trucks and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's not really. It's local, but it's mobile too. So like they could go to other cities and other. So it's not as more local than what they really want.
So like for this upcoming year, it's a great spot to jump into 2025. Do you already talk to vendors in advance? I mean, obviously you've talked to Cities Peoria. Yeah. You know that we're going to be down at Bass Pro. So do you have food vendors and drink vendors already lined up for the whole year?
Kona Ice is already lined up for the whole Friday Night Lights, and we have the coffee coop for all cars and coffee for this year already so far.
Yeah, I like them. They were good.
Yeah, and that's my biggest thing. And actually, Coffee Coop actually reached out to us about having come back out and do more cars and coffee because they actually sold out the first time they showed up because they were not expecting the crowd that they expected.
That's awesome.
So.
It's a happy problem to have.
It is a very good happy problem.
Yeah.
So how have you seen the numbers kind of come and go, especially with COVID and everything? Is it?
I will be honest. COVID, I don't think. I don't know. COVID really didn't really mess with us. I feel like because people around here was more not like okay, if I get it kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean,
it was kind of. Not affecting, but I did see the numbers kind of go down a little bit with the older crowd and the younger crowd.
Yeah.
The younger crowd, it's like parents, like, if you go out, you're not coming home, like, kind of thing. And older crowds, like, if I get it, I die kind of thing. Like, I get it 100%.
Yeah, sure.
And we did see a little bit, but, like, throughout the whole year, like, the first ones and the last ones are always the biggest ones. Mm-hmm. So I expect throughout the middle of the year, like, July-ish, maybe not July, but, like, June and, like, September, they'd be like the slower ones and like the least favorite ones because it's like there's not that many people, but at the same time we're still bringing in 200 to 300 cars every time.
Yeah. Do you ever get an accurate count?
Last year at Trunk or Treat, I think the mayor, one of the city council people, counted almost 1,000 cars.
That's what they do, like an aerial shot, and
and started counting because
I have to think AI. You could just like tell AI count all the cars in this picture or something like that.
The Trunk or Treat actually, so Tim the barber, because he's a sponsor, he rarely shows up, but like he wanted wanted a spot saved, so he called me. He was at Dunkin' Donuts, which is like a mile and a half away from where we are.
Yeah,
a line from where he was just to go towards Bass Pro.
Yeah.
That's how big the line was just to get in. This year, I did already talk to the city about managing time better with them with the Trunk or Treat because they put at 5 o'clock and we don't start till 6 o'clock.
So there's like a little pent up demand, people waiting. Okay.
Yeah, so a lot of people are already there waiting on cars to show up, and
with
it's
their
like
kids.
It's like, oh man. So we're gonna either start early on Trunk or Treat, or they just start later, and then like have all the cars show up at 6, and and all the rest of people show up at 6:30 or 7.
Yeah,
kind of thing. So,
but that's good though. But again, it's a happy problem. Those are I feel like some of this stuff is just growing pains as the event gets bigger and bigger and more traction. Because the other part about the Trunk or Treat, it's probably a little more work and it's different, Yeah. But I love it because people that aren't quote unquote car people, it's just like family show up. Like, oh wow, this is cool. Hey, Grandpa's got a cool car. He might want to come down here. Yeah. When do you? I hear that a lot when you do the Trunk or Treats, where they're like, how often do you do this? Oh, we're here like every month. Oh, really? And like they get to know a little bit of that. And yeah, I met somebody who's like, her dad had an old car, and she was going to tell him about it. And the other one was like, it's a good motivator for like, I'm gonna put my persona hat on and be like, for the person. Let's just say the guy who's got young kids at home, who's got an old, I don't know, Supra that's on blocks in the garage, and he's like, someday I'm going to do it. That is the ultimate motivator. Like, you're going to do the Trunk or Treat thing. See what this is about. It's like, oh, crap. I would have so much fun. Or me and my kids will have so much fun doing this as a family, and then we can go to do events like this. It's a great motivator to expose people to stuff that aren't really, like, in the car scene, if you will.
Cody Shaw, he has the Cybertruck. the first one that got into Washington. He wrapped it maroon, like a reddish maroon cherry. I actually caught him at the car wash. I'm like, yo, I'll save you a spot just to show up. I see you have kids. They will enjoy the car show, I feel like. And I saved him a spot, and he literally pulled up, and everyone that was there was just like looking around it. I'm like, and then like after that, he would always text me, or I'll text him like, hey, there's one coming up, and the trunk or treat one, he had a blast. He bought candy and expected to not run out. I spent almost $400 last year and still ran out of candy.
The last year you guys did it at the Levy District. My wife ran to Costco twice. Oh, and we were just, we don't have anything fancy. We're just one of the many people there. Mm-hmm. We brought, I think we had 2 or 3 big Costco bags originally, and we ran out. She ran there twice to get more. I'm like, that's a lot of kids showing up there.
Yep.
What about motorcycles? Do you think you're going to influence any more bikes out there this year?
I'd love to try. They're not necessarily going to be as big of a crowd. I would hope more would show up, but follow the rules, not be kind of, I'm going to show up and be the cool guy.
Yeah.
I wish there would be more, but it's definitely more of a car event.
Yeah.
But it's good to see them in there, here and there. I wouldn't disagree with having them there.
You had alluded earlier in the show about maybe some special guests or maybe some YouTubers and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Do you think that kind of stuff keeps you excited about the prospects of being involved with this?
Yeah, definitely. I don't really want to say who or what or when for the events, but I definitely feel like if you have something that's new, it brings more attention to that show that month or whatnot, or for example, the car cover photo contest for whoever wins that, it gets the page motivated. I
get so bummed all the time. This is the best shot ever, and it's not just your page; it's other pages. I'm on some off-road pages and stuff too, and I'm like, I only got 27 likes, and that guy got 29.
And it is heartbreaking because it's one of those times. It's like, okay, I gotta go to my personal page, and then I have to pick my favorite one, and it's like, if I don't like both of them on my personal page, is that really going to bother the guy? Or it might. And so, I might.
You're the referee.
Eric.
Yeah. So, but I do want to go back to the bikes for sure. Me and him's been talking to the city, and we actually thought about doing a whole bike section. So, to involve more bikes too, because we don't want to leave them out. They still have motors. They still got wheels.
Yeah,
you still drive them on the streets. I remember one time at Friday Night Lights down in Levy District in East Peoria, JJ Toppers brought lifted golf carts and just kind of drove them down the middle of the street. And it's it has wheels, but the city allowed it.
Yeah. They were cool with it.
Yeah, they were allowed it that one time, and it was pretty cool. It brought the attention. But go back to the how to bring people in that's the thing is me and him always tried talking to the city, what can we motivate more people to show up? We're thinking about artists, an artist or someone that's not big yet or about to be big, or a YouTuber that will come through and maybe hey, is enjoying cars or in the car scene as a YouTuber.
Sure.
Or someone up in Chicago that's famous or something. That's my biggest thing. My goal is to just promote and get bigger and bigger and bigger. And that's why I got Jacob on board too, because in order to do that, I'm going to have to grow with the organization too, and it's going to be more hands on deck.
I respect what you're doing, though, because you have to grow, right? You can never stop evolving. You can't just be I'm just going to phone it in for another year.
Do it the same way we did it last year, right?
Hey, how come half the people aren't showing up? You have to continue to grow and evolve and bring new perspective, bring new people. And I hate to say this because, Preston, you're a young guy. You're younger than me. But, you get to a point where you're okay, I've been in the scene now for, 10 years. Stuff changes, right? The trends change. What people are into are changing. We were talking in the pre-show, which, by the way, Patreon members get. I just want to throw that out there. It's a nice little
perk.
We were talking in the pre-show about, some folks are saying, the JDM bubble has burst. And, been there, done that. But we don't think that's the case.
No.
It's just evolving, right?
Yeah.
It's changing. Yeah. So instead of having this incredible Supra that's got all this work done, maybe you're buying what's the Toyota that's got the gull wings that everybody
Sarah
or something. Yeah, it's like the sub $10,000 JDM stuff that's like cool. And we notice that locally. Like there's people running around that with some neat stuff. They're like, this is different.
Yeah.
People in the community love seeing something new, different. Heck, I think last year I talked to a guy. He was a retired music teacher. He had the world's cleanest. It was like a 78 Toyota Corolla liftback, that yellow one.
Okay.
It was. Have you seen that one?
Yeah, the world's cleanest for sure, especially from Central Illinois or Midwest. Yeah.
This dude, I'm sitting here and I'm like, my aunt had one of those like years ago. I'm like, why am I looking at this? It was impeccable. And I'm like, I see this dude wander around. I was like, sir, is this yours? He's like, yep, I bought it new, and I just took really good care of it. And I'm like, unbelievable.
Yeah.
Taking it to 30,000 feet and looking down, though. Think about this. We met Steve Brown at Cars and Coffee. Yeah. I think you and I kind of really got to know each other from Cars and Coffee. What Cars and Coffee does, it takes us away from our social media and like, I'm going to get in a group of Mustang owners. I'm just going to chat about Mustangs all day on Reddit. Yep. Cars and Coffee puts us in a situation where we're actually face-to-face. We're analog. Yep. And I'm talking to a guy with a Nissan. I'm talking to a guy with an old Ford, which I know nothing about. But it's a car thing. Yeah. It's a wheel thing. It could be a guy on a bike. I don't know enough about bikes, but I can admire like a new chrome exhaust, or I can admire a paint job or something like that. So that's kind of the magic of it to me. It drags all cultures together, drags us all face to face, and we talk about what we love, right?
And the generations for sure too.
Yeah. That's the other thing. Yeah, talking to some of these folks that have been doing stuff for a long time, or frankly, the younger folks. Mm-hmm. I've had so many of the older gearheads that are into restoring classic cars. I've had so many of them say the same thing. The younger, when I came up in like the 90s and 2000s, they were like, oh, these young kids, they don't know how to do nothing. And I'm like, all right, dude, whatever. It's just like somebody old complaining. Mm-hmm. Now, you don't hear that as much. I hear from the older folks, these younger kids are the only, especially like the import guys, like the tuners and stuff like that. They're the only kids actually working on cars anymore. Like they're modifying them, they're building them, they're learning how things work. And so I feel like things have changed. Even like older folks' perceptions of like younger generations have changed because of the car scene. They're actually seeing kids work on stuff, and that's fantastic too. Because I see. You'll see an old hot rodder. It's got an old 32 chop Ford or something like that. Everything's built, everything's modded. He's done everything himself. And right next to him is somebody with like a late model Acura, and they've done the same thing. I'm like, you guys are the same. You are one and the same. Mm-hmm. It's just that's generations has been separated, but they're into the same stuff. And we have luckily too. Have you noticed this too? Like with the amount of folks that CAT and whatever, like machinists, we've got some really talented builders around here.
We do.
And you'll see guys that'll do stuff. You're like, what the heck? We're like, well, I'm a tool and die guy, or I do, like I'm a machinist at CAT. You're like, of course you are, and you're a great welder. Like we've got so many people with talents around here.
Bob Grimm.
Oh my God!
Good hand with pinstriping, man.
Yeah.
John Wargo from the custom shop in Flanagan, Illinois. He goes to SEMA every year with 3 or 4 cars, and he does great work from upholstery to paint job to restoring cars to customizing one-of-one stuff.
It's incredible.
And yeah, there's a lot of people out here that could definitely has great talent, and like if they got heard, I'm sure they'll probably be famous. Like I will be honest with you about that.
Yeah. We're lucky to have them here in Central
And
Illinois.
you don't have to pay a dime to go see it all, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Can't beat that. So I think we've covered all the questions. Is there anything we didn't hit that you want to tell us about that that we're missing on Cars and Coffee?
I'm not thinking of too much. What do you think you have to say about it?
I think this year is going to be great. Like I'll be honest with you, we're working pretty hard.
Yeah, I think it'll be better than last year.
Yeah, I definitely think that the city, they're already happy that we're on top of it, and they're excited because our event page keeps booming. We're at 1,200 people that's just interested to coming, and there's 400 or 500 people that's going. And
yeah,
so these first 2 events are going to be insane. It's going to be very packed house.
So should I get there at 4 a.m? Is that what you're saying?
I mean, if you
set up a lawn chair,
if you want, I can't stop anybody for showing up that early. But
Eric, bring your cooler, please.
All right. I'll wait. You said I can't.
Oh,
I'm a terrible human
definitely
being
a lot more
beverage.
planned though.
Yes.
We're gonna try out some new stuff.
Yes.
For sure. Try and see if it works out with the crowd. See if they like some of the new stuff. Possibilities with YouTubers. artists. It's all a possibility, and we'll see as it goes.
Stay tuned for more details.
Yes.
Season opener is April
5th.
April 5th. All right, Saturday, April 5th. If you are in the vicinity of East Peoria, Illinois around that time, or within a 3 or 4 hour drive, come on down. There's lots to do here. You can make a weekend of it. That's the other part, too. It's a great economic driver for, like, convention visitors and stuff like that. Like, it helps just people get to this area and like, oh, you've actually got a skyline. Oh, you've got some cool stuff to do. Oh, we checked this out. Like, Starved Rock's cool, Chicago people, but like, keep driving. There's some cooler stuff here. So I'm just going to throw that out there.
Exactly.
Especially do it on a Cars and Coffee weekend.
Yeah. Well, with that said, it all runs by volunteers. You guys, we thank you so much. If it wasn't for you, none of this stuff would happen. There we go.
Yeah. I hit the right button.
You did. You did it right. Finally, it only took you an hour and 20 minutes to get it right. But in all seriousness, I know this from working in organizations. Daryl works in organizations as a volunteer. People, if you don't appreciate it, then you need to think about it, or you need to watch the show and see how it goes. Without Preston, without guys like Jacob, these events don't go. And we are so thankful that you guys put your time and energy into it. Thank you.
We really appreciate all the sponsors too. That's the biggest thing, is we couldn't do it without them. Like, that's 100%.
I would have to agree with that. We have our hearts in it, but we can't really do it without anybody else. So we gotta have the sponsors to help us. If we don't have them, we're nowhere.
Totally agree. How can folks get a hold of you, or how can folks find more information about Central Illinois Cars and Coffee?
Facebook page is Central Illinois Cars and Coffee. And then Friday Night Lights is still on the same page under Central Illinois Cars and Coffee. We try posting at least about 3 times every 3 weeks or so.
Yeah.
We try to keep it to the minimum, so it's not like a car salesman page kind of thing. But we're going to try, and we're going to post about our sponsors. And like, if you're looking for tint or where to buy a car from, you could let us know, and like, we'll send you all of our sponsors. That's what we're here for. We're trying to make the community in Central Illinois better.
Very cool.
Cool beans. All right. Well, thanks again, guys. Appreciate you coming on episode 99 of Throwing Wrenches. We'll be back at episode 100.
The dreaded episode 100.
Yeah, there's a lot of expectation 100, so hopefully you don't get your hopes up.
We got a plan. Petting zoos. We're going to have a whole parade. We're going to ticker tape parade. We're going to do everything.
Definitely a popcorn machine.
Yeah.
All right. For Throwing Wrenches podcast, this is
Jacob,
Preston,
Daryl,
and Eric. Thanks again for joining us. We'll see you next time.